Ever since someone sent me an Amazon link to these ox lasers, I've been intrigued looking at all the different types they have available, and was most particularly excited about the price. They were much cheaper than some of the other lasers on the market. So a little skeptical because of the cheap price, because that old adage, you get what you pay for. But this past Tuesday I decided to go ahead and pull the trigger on one. It was $89.99, so for less than 90 bucks I got a 3.5 watt laser, and I went through Amazon, so I figure worst that can happen is I have to return it and get another one or whatever if it doesn't work. But I'm gonna try to connect that to my Gatton CNC today, and before I do that, let me move the camera in here close and show you what you get for that 90 bucks. Okay, let's take a look at what I got for my $90. So this is the laser unit. You can see it's got the laser diode encased in this aluminum heatsink, and it's really just a nice compact unit. I really like the looks of this. The build quality is really good. It's got your little fan right here, sandwiched between the heatsink and the little drive board here. You've got your reset switch right there, and you've got a plug where your cable goes, which is clearly marked 12 volts, positive, ground, and then your PWM, which is your pulse wave modulation. It has back here, like I said, this is really kind of like a little piece of 80/20 aluminum. It's got a lot of M3 tapped holes here, so it makes it real easy to make a mount. I've made a aluminum mount, which I'm going to show you here in a little bit. But I'm really impressed with the build quality of this. It's a nice little compact unit. Of course, it's got the label here showing that the one I purchased is a 3.5 watt, and the wavelength is I think that's marked 450 nm, which I can't remember what that stands for, but anyway. And then of course all the safety information on there as well, the warnings and all that. But a nice little unit. It comes with 2 cables if you want to go the 3-wire route, or if you have this kind of a board with this kind of connection. This goes to the back here, like I said, and you've got your red for your 12 volts positive, black for your ground, and then yellow for the PWM. Same thing on the other end, and of course if you got a plug, you would just plug that in. If you don't, you can cut that off and just make sure you wire it properly. I'm going to be using this other cable, which has kind of the same thing on the one end. It's got the red for the 12 volts. If you look close, you can see there's a black and a white that go to the center pin, and then of course the yellow on the other side, which is the PWM. And then on the other end of this cable, it splits it up, and it goes, here's your black and red, which would go to your power supply, and then your white and yellow. The yellow wires for the PWM, so that would go to whatever pin on your breakout board that you're going to use, and the white wire would be your ground, which would just go to a common ground. So that's the one I'm going to use. But you'll notice that both of these wires, neither one, or cables I should say, neither one of them are very long, so I'm probably going to have to use some wire that I have left over for running my stepper wire in my my drag chain there. So that's probably what I'm going to use, or something similar. And also of course you get your handy dandy super cool looking red safety glasses, which these are an absolute must. No matter what kind of laser you get, you need to make sure you get the glasses that are appropriate for your kind of laser. And I think pretty much all the places I've seen to sell these little lasers provide glasses, at least one pair with in with the kit. But if you got kids or something around, you probably need to get some extra pairs for them as well, so they don't come out and try to look at something while you're running the laser. Alright, one thing you may have noticed that I haven't shown yet, and that's the manual or the documentation, and that's because it came with absolutely none. However, this looks like a pretty straightforward installation. It's not very complicated, and this is the information. I just copied this off of the item description that was on the Amazon page and just plugged it in the notepad and printed it out. So this is really all the information you need to connect this up, because it's really not that complicated. Okay, this is an old power supply that I took out of the kiosk that I got. It had several of these power supplies in there running different things, and this one is for 12 volts and is 0 to 2 amps, so I think it'll work okay. But I'm going to have to cut this plug off because it's got a different kind of plug, and I need to determine which wire is which one is the positive and which one is the negative. So I'm going to turn my little meter on here, and I'm going to stick these in here and see. I think you might be able to read that, and you see how it says negative 12, so I know that I need to probably switch those. So I'm going to put the black over here on the plain black wire and the red over here on, and now I'm getting a positive 12 volts. So I know that the wire here with the little stripe on it is the which would be in effect the red wire for the positive. So when I cut that off, I know which one goes where. Okay, let me show you the little mount I made. Like I said, it's got a lot of M3 tapped holes right here, and what my plan is, I made this little aluminum plate, got the countersink holes, and my plan is to have this where I can just slide it onto the side of my Z-box and then able to remove it when I'm wanting to use the spindle, so that I don't get a bunch of dust and stuff on this. So this just screws on here like so. Okay, so there we have it. That's, I think, it's going to make a pretty nice little mount. And like I said, this side is going to just kind of be up against the back part of my plate for my spindle mount, and then I think I can just make it where I can put a couple of screws in here and just kind of poke it on and let it drop down, and it should hold it in place. Okay guys, I think we're just running a little bit of a test here at different power settings, but I think this little $90 laser could possibly be a game changer for folks who are looking to add an inexpensive laser to their Gatton CNC or GarageWorks CNC or whatever, really. No more than, this is like the third test, and I'm just kind of playing around here, and I still have to figure out the focus. I think it's going to be a little different than the JTech, but it's just doing fantastic so far. So I'm very happy with it, and at this point it was $90 well spent. I'll move the camera around over here so you can see how I've got it set up. Okay, this is how I've got it set up. I've just, like I showed you earlier, I made this little plate. Got some countersink holes, so I've got the laser assembly fastened to that. I've just got a couple of screws right here that I can fasten here, and that's probably the position and I'll run it. And I also put a third key slot in there, thinking I might, leave it like that, try to get it up out of the way, and maybe leave it on there while I'm running the spindle. However, I'm not, at this point, I'm not real crazy about that idea, so I'll probably just take it all the way off, which means I won't be doing much in the way of wire management, because I want to be able to get it all the way out of here. But anyway, I'm really happy with the way it's working. It's I think with just a little bit of tweaking and fiddling with it, I can get it to run as good or better than my $350 JTech photonic laser. And this was, like I said, a $90 laser. I did have to use my own power supply, but you can find those online for, you know, probably less than 20 bucks. I did end up using a different power supply. I found one that was even a better one than that old one I had. So it was a 12 volt 300 milliamp, I think. So I'm using that right now, and it's working really good. I've also got the power supply connected back there to the outlet where I just turn this switch off here, and it will shut the power off to that power supply. And I also have my cable ran. I had a 4-wire cable. It had, instead of having yellow, white, red and black, it had green, white, yellow and black. So I put the red to the red, the black to black, the white to white, and then the only difference was the yellow is now going to a green wire. So I have my green wire going into pin 17, which is what I'm using for the laser, and the other wire, which is the white, is just going to common ground back there. And of course the red and the black are soldered into the little power supply wire. So I'm just really tickled. It's working great. Like I said, this could be a game changer for folks that are looking for a very inexpensive laser. I'm going to play around with this one some more, run some things, and I'll probably do another video which will be more of a review, because you know, I haven't had it long enough to really do one. But it was very easy to set up, and like I said, for 90 bucks you can't, I don't think you can go wrong with it. Okay, I guess that's going to do it for this video. If you're interested in checking out one of these aux lasers, I'll have a link down below in the description that will take you right to the page where I got this one. They also have on that same page, they have like I think a 2.5 watt, a 3.5 watt, 5.5 I believe, and then a 7 watt. So, you know, this is kind of middle of the range, but for 90 bucks, I thought, you know, I'm going to try it out and see how it works, and couldn't be more pleased. So anyway, that's going to do it for this video. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you want to follow along with some of my other CNC stuff, be sure and click on the subscribe button and hit the bell for notifications. Also, if you like following my cigar box guitar or guitar stuff, I have a new YouTube channel called Dave Gatton Guitars. You can check that out and subscribe as well, and follow me over there. I had to kind of split things up because it was getting a little jumbled up trying to do everything on the one channel. So anyway, check that channel out as well, and I appreciate it. And I guess that's going to do it. As always, thank you very much for watching.